Dina. This is the Global Digest think tank group. You are our guest today.
I did my PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University uh, in the School of International Studies. So during my PhD, my specialization, my work on the public policy making process in Bhutan. And when I was working Bhutan, my center was South Asia, South Asia. So I got little interest on South Asia region. What are the problems the South Asia region face? So during my PhD, I found this migration issue. So for me, it's interesting. So I thought that why don't we work on the migration and the refugee issues? So fortunately, in 2020, I got my first postdoc project under the RUSA, Rashtriya Uच्च Shiksha Abhiyan. And that was the first assignment I got engaged in the migration or refugee issue. So during my postdoc, my work basically on the identity. I took a case study of Rohingya because when we are talking about the identity and the ethnicity, so we all know Myanmar is very popular or famous because this
Right.
region or the country facing a Rohingya issue. So that was my first incline on the migration or the refugee issue. So I started working on this. But yes, uh, parallelly, I also research and work on different issues when it's come under the South Asian region. But along with this, my specialization is in Bhutan.
I see. So probably it could be connected Bhutan and Bengal and Bangladesh and Rohingya, probably.
Because all are the South Asian countries. So we somehow and somewhere we all are connected. Because now in the contemporary time or in the 21st century, if we think that this issue is related to a particular country, so we are done. So
Right.
everything is connected. If something happened, especially with our neighbors, so later it will affect us. So Myanmar is our neighbor, Bhutan is our neighbor. So automatically every country is interconnected.
Right. So I agree, certain your geography focus, because if you want to talk about Rohingya, you have to draw the area between starting from Bangladesh, especially Chittagong area,
Chittagong
and
area, yes.
Arakan State in Myanmar, especially northern Arakan State. This area you have to focus because these are inhabited or grow up or intermingle, whether movement or within those areas, in any historical context, cultural context, religious context. It should be included from Bangladesh Chittagong area and northern part of Arakan State in Myanmar. So I agree that area you cannot ignore, you cannot exclude whenever you study the Rohingya issue, because Chittagong definitely since ancient time, uh, especially coastal line of Chittagong area under uh, any government, Rohingya are there at the coastal line of Chittagong, because hill area
Chittagong.
of Chittagong is other ethnic group, hill group, because Rohingya has never experienced live in hill area. They are mostly live in the coastal line. That's
Coastal.
also congested Muslim religiously and Bengali, or maybe a little bit different Bengal, different language, or little bit different uh, culture, little bit different language from Bengal, because uh, in fact they can communicate between Bengal and Rohingya. And same in northern part of Arakan, a lot of Rohingya claim also, and villages, they mention that Bangla inhabited, Rohingya inhabited mostly in plain area, again, mountain area, hill area, never Rohingya inhabited. There was no evidences. You cannot find. There are another hill tribe group, So I agree. You can draw the line when you study Rohingya issue, starting from Bangladesh, Chittagong area, coastal line, and northern part of Arakan, plain area. That you have to cover all this area. Only then you can fulfill uh, study of Rohingya. So in that case, geographically, you study. It's part of South Asia. You can say like that.
I have visited places where Rohingyas are staying in India, especially in Delhi, because as I told you, I'm staying in Delhi, so I got an opportunity to visit during my project, my postdoc project, to visit those places. So in South Delhi, there are refugee camps for Rohingyas. So I visited those places and saw their condition, like how they live and what are the, you know, uh, facility service we are providing, the government are providing. But as you ask, have you visited Bangladesh? No. But in future, if I get the opportunity to visit Bangladesh, so definitely I will do, because it's related to my specialization, my research work. And along with Delhi, there are so many other places where Rohingyas are staying. Uh, uh, like in Delhi, as I mentioned, and Jammu and Hyderabad and
Right.
Haryana and Rajasthan. So they are
Even
staying
in
different.
Kashmir, I get Kashmir.
Yes,
But
Jammu.
a
I
lot,
mentioned
a lot
Jammu.
of Muslims, so they are willing to living with Muslim in Kashmir.
Yes, yes. So they are staying in Delhi, in India, in different states. So I visited there and I saw their condition. And John, first experience when I visited those places, especially Delhi, the South Delhi, where they are staying in refugee camps. Uh, you know, whatever is the circumstances or the condition, but they are not happy. Obviously, everybody wants their home. And they are saying that our place is not safe. So that's why we are staying here. So the first thing, that time clicked in my mind, that why Myanmar government is not providing a proper, not proper, at least basic uh, environment or a safe environment to Rohingyas. It is very important. And somehow I also realized, means I frankly quote this line, that uh, Myanmar somewhere not consider Rohingyas as a human being. We have seen so many incidents, after the military rule in Myanmar, like after when they got independent in 1948, until date, we have seen so many incidents.
Right.
Uh, so, uh, so you know, we will not go into a deep, like who they are, where they come from. So we just focus on that. We need to work on the solution part. How, I will not say that we will resolve this problem completely, because this problem, it's not a result of one day. Okay, it's gradually evolved. So obviously the solution also take, a gradual process. So the first initiative, according to me, has come from the Myanmar government. If they consider them as their own citizen, most of the problem will resolve. The first thing, they have to provide a citizenship or the legal rights. Very important. Then the rest of international community, the neighbor, will come for their assistance. But yes, first initiative come from the Myanmar government. So somehow we can reduce this issue, not completely resolve. As I mentioned, we can't resolve this problem overnight. But yes, gradual and concrete solution required. First from the Myanmar government, then second the neighbors, the international organizations. Because every in this time, not a single country who will deny that we are not facing any problem. Every country has the problem, internal problem, domestic problem. But how you will take that problem? If you consider, okay, this problem is mine, it's related to my citizen. If this thing comes, then you will find a solution also.
I see. So I mean, definitely you said rightly, since independent in Burma or Myanmar, it's been civil war, domestic civil war, and conflict, domestic conflict and civil war since then. And you said it's a military government or authoritarian government in Burma is always inhuman act. You said it's true. They consider people as not as a human, like bombing every villages or every towns. Do you think uh, how many people die and using innocent young people as human shield at the war? They let them go at the front line. It's human shield and let them die. It's you said very inhuman. It's definitely consequence of dictator, military, and authoritarian regime, the government. Definitely, who responsible? Uh, the regime responsible is true, as well as neighbor responsible indirectly or directly in many cases. China, India play big role as well. China supply weapon, bomb. Who supply bomb and weapon? Then they can kill innocent people or uh, crime against humanity. I mean that definitely who supporting regime is responsible, since independent Indian also somehow related. Indian government is desire to engage with only the regime in spite of many civilian organization or civilian government or civilian society, civil society and civilian leaders. Indian Bharat is prefer interest to engage with only the regime. Even recently, Modi engaged with uh, the, the, the military coup leaders, online with very happily, openly. So that is the realism, in international politics, regional politics. Why politicians are doing like that? You can ask them that. They will say many reasons because they are doing realism. They have to engage. They have to engage with the regime. So the regime feel he gets support from India. He gets support from China, and he will mess up whoever, regardless of crime, regardless of innocent, regardless of a lot of civilian innocent, uh, unnecessary die every day. So that is regional politics, and the regime dictatorship or the authoritarianship. If a neighboring India, China support dramatically decline or almost no support, regime might not able to do crime against humanity or killing people or violation on the innocent human. How you can see the reality? How shall we do that? Indian population should think about that. Indian people should think about it, and Chinese population should do. In case Chinese, the population has no freedom of media, very limited. Chinese population cannot engage much. But India case, Indian population can engage very openly, open society, freedom of expression. So that India population should seriously concern.
When we are talking about the refugees, and if we are talking about the factor, so it's not a single factor who are affecting refugee.
Right.
There are many factors. There are cultural factor, there are political factor. We can take an example of Rohingyas refugees. So when we are talking about the Rohingyas issue or Rohingyas refugee, so the main cause, of course, the initial cause is the historical, but along with the historical, there are cultural factors, there are political factors also. Uh, as we also discussed when we are about talking about the history, so yes, in the early presence, or we can say during the 8th and 15th century, uh, many historians believe that the Muslim traders from the Arakan, Persia, and India settled in the Arakan region. Present day we call it Arakan state.
Right.
So, and over a time, these settlers or these traders mixed with the local community and developed a distinct identity. So, the first is the early presence. Then we see the British colonial period during the 1824 to 1948, before they got independent. Burma got independent. So after the British rule, or in the Arakan during the first Anglo-Burmese war, so the movement of labor within British controlled territories become easier. Many people from present day Bangladesh, then the part of the British India, so migrated to Arakan for the work. So during the British colonial period, so
Right.
this migration increased the Muslim population in the region, and later became a source of tension with the local Buddhist communities in Myanmar. We know Myanmar is the Buddhist country. Okay, so majority of the population belongs to Buddhist. So these Rohingyas are the ethnic minority community in Myanmar. Then after Myanmar's independence, the time period is 1948. So when Myanmar gained independence in 1948, so
Right.
the Rohingyas sought recognized as one of the country's ethnic group. So however, successive government questioned their historical roots and considered many of them descendants of migrants from Bengal. Then the next thing is I'm just giving you a historical background. Okay, so the next thing is the citizenship issue. So a major turning point came with Myanmar during the 1982 time period citizenship law, which did not recognize the Rohingyas as one of the country's official ethnic groups. There are more than 135 ethnic groups in Myanmar, but Myanmar government not recognize this Rohingyas as one of the ethnic community in Myanmar. Okay, so as a result, many Rohingyas become effectively stateless, lacking full citizenship right if you compare it to the rest of the citizens of Myanmar, or we can say the Buddhist citizens. Okay, then yes, of course, the displacement. Okay, so violence increased in 2012, and especially in 2017, when military operations forced hundreds of thousands Rohingyas to flee to neighboring Bangladesh. So, in short, what I'm trying to say, so I'm saying that the Rohingyas are a Muslim community or Muslim minority
Right.
community from Myanmar's Rakhine state. So they trace their roots to centuries to settlement in the region. If their root to centuries of settlement, how the Myanmar government denied to giving the recognition of citizenship? 5th to 18th century, starting from the British time to 2070, or we can say 1982, during the citizenship law. So still, or even still, the Myanmar government did not recognize them as their citizen. Okay, but Myanmar government has largely recognized them recognition as an indigenous ethnic group. So citizenship disputes, discrimination, and violence have led to one of the world's serious refugee crises in Myanmar in the form of Rohingyas refugee. And the next thing is, most of the historians says, or when we're talking about the historical present. So as I mentioned in just a few minutes ago, that the Myanmar government saying they are coming from the Bengal, or
Right.
from the Bangladesh. Okay, so we know that. Okay, but the thing is, because we are the neighbor country or of Myanmar, so what will be the stand of India? So India, yes, of course, has adopted a very balanced, or we can say a pragmatic approach towards the Rohingyas refugee. On one hand, India, has expressed concern over the humanitarian suffering of the Rohingyas population. On the other hand, it has emphasized national security, illegal immigration, and regional stability. We know that Rohingyas, facing a problem, but yes, we have to take care of our national security and the illegal immigration and the regional stability also. When I'm saying the humanitarian concern, so yes, of course, India recognize the humanitarian dimension of the crisis and has provided relief assistance or support to Rohingyas refugee and especially affected communities in Myanmar and Bangladesh. And the refugees were staying in India also, different state of India also. The second is the security concern. When I'm saying a security concern, so yes, India consider the presence of undocumented migrants a security issue. And Indian authorities have expressed concern that some radical groups could exploit refugee population, particularly in sensitive border region.
Right.
And The third thing is the regional stability. And when I'm saying a regional stability, so India believes that a long-term solution required to resolve the regional stability. How? Stability in Myanmar is important. Then the rest of the things come, the international assistance and neighbor assistance. First, stability in Myanmar important. The second is, in Myanmar have to provide a safe and a bit, not a better, but at least a basic requirement to these refugees. And third is the development of Myanmar's Rakhine state is important. We know the situation of this region, the Rakhine state. If you compare with the other region of the Myanmar, the condition is much better. So who will responsible? We know the reality. Okay. Then the next is the cooperation among the Myanmar, Bangladesh, and the regional partners important.
Right.
But all things come later. First is the stability in Myanmar is important, and the safe and protective environment providing to these refugees in the Rakhine state is very important. So we are doing our work. India is doing their work. Or, I just give you some, incidents or events, or we can say India's major response and initiative. Remember in 2017, refugee influx. So in launch Operation Humanity, or in Hindi we called it Operation Insaniyat. So during this operation, India provided food supplies, provide rice and pulses, cooking oil, all basic requirement to these refugees. In India, to Bangladesh, because in Bangladesh, refugees are staying, the Rohingyas refugees are staying there. So, so the assistance was provided to Bangladesh to help manage the large number of Rohingyas refugees living in the campus around very famous, the Cox's Bazar.
Typical.
So these are the, small initiative India is taking. And along with India, international organization also providing international assistance to Myanmar, to other countries also, to support the Rohingya refugees who are staying in different countries or different parts of India. So we are doing our best or providing, but yes, we have our own issues also related to security and other things.
So India-Burma border, I mean, India can only concentrate on the western part of Burma, India border very well. I mean, even you cannot do the whole country. You can do at least very fully or very good humanitarian work at the western part of Burma, at the border. So, I mean, it's not good. So if you cannot do it within your own border area, Western Burma, that will be, I mean, not good, You can't do neither one. You are not doing neither one very well. So instead of focus only border, Western Burma will be the best India performance can be consider, we can consider, and it is very successful humanitarian work, I guess, if India can focus on like that.
How can this Rohingya issue be resolved, or to reduce? As I mentioned, it's a doable or it's required a doable resolution, required action from Myanmar, from Bangladesh, and from regional powers, as I mentioned, India, as well as the international organization. So the first thing we need to work on, or the Myanmar need to work on the citizenship and the legal recognition in Myanmar. So this citizenship and legal recognition uh, will resolve most of the problems, because the root cause of this crisis is the lack of citizenship and legal status for Rohingyas in Myanmar. And along with this, a long-term solution would require uh, reform of the 1982 citizenship law, and recognition of Rohingyas as the citizens, or granting them a clear legal status, and without any discrimination, equal access to basic requirements related to education, healthcare, employment, and political participation. And earlier, I mentioned the political rights is important. So without citizenship right, any refugee return is unlikely to be sustainable. Then, safe and dignified return. So most Rohingyas nowadays, currently live in campus in Bangladesh, particularly, as I mentioned, across Cox's Bazar. So refugee must return voluntarily, and Myanmar, ensure their security guarantee. They will provide a safety environment. So that is important. And, homes and villages must be rebuilt. During the civilian war and, military coup. So we know the reality of Rakhine State. So that's why home and villages should be rebuilt. And last but not least, independent monitoring by the international organization should be allowed. Means what is happening in Myanmar, it is very important. So that international accountability and, this monitoring is very important.
Sure.
Especially during the initial years, it is important. So the next is the peace and stability in Myanmar. When I'm saying a peace and stability, so this required reduction of armed conflict in Myanmar, because
Definitely.
after independent.
And there are also many other refugees in Burma. So the first thing we need, no guns, no bomb, no shooting, no armed conflict. The first thing is that one, and
Safe environment.
abuse or no force. I mean, burning village or destroying village or crime against humanity, human rights violation on the people. So that need no weapon, no bomb, also no dictator, no authoritarian regime. These are part of consequences that a lot of refugees fled from Burma, including Rohingya. So that is a geopolitical context. Burma need a good regime, a good leader.
Good leadership.
You need a good leader, and you need a good regime. You need a good governments, and you need a good political system. Burma's case is democracy system. So Burma need a democracy system. Everybody agree. Even China agree Burma should be because our question. There is communists our question in Burma. So that is requirement in Burma and the situation in Burma. I'm surprised is India largest democracy and powerful country. The leader in Indian government probably, I guess, probably they know what we are talking, the requirement in Burma, no weapon, no bomb, no authoritarian leader, no dictator leader, no dictator regime, dictator government, authoritarian government. That should not welcome in Burma, and it should be clear. It should be cleansed all those things in order to avoid Rohingya refugee spreading around the world. Why India government, if they know the requirement in Burma, why they are willing to engage with the regime in spite of the requirement in Burma to avoid all these problematic, as you mentioned, as your own India requirements, as you mentioned. India is acting, overacting, we can say. What India is supposed to do and what not supposed to do is that India overacting when engaging with the regime. And India totally ignore with democratic or civil society, the people organization, the people representation, even scholar, activists, media journalists. India government doesn't want to engage, whether they support or not support is another thing. Even not want to engage with scholar, think tank group, media group, civil society group. Very poor engagement. But Modi and India government is openly, officially desire or willingness to engage with the regime. So it's an India is overacting. If they need more expertise, they can invite or they can let us know. We can also willing to support in terms of think tanks and all this intellectual with Indian government for India and the region and for Burma. If they don't have weapon, if they don't have any regime capacity, they cannot do much, because now they have plenty of bomb, they have plenty of weapon. So they want to strike or bomb or sharing weapon with innocent people. So that is the context. So I will also argue the same to China. But China different with India. China is not a democracy. But in India, you are democracy. So Indian population has something to say. India also population has voice. But Chinese cases, Chinese population doesn't have voice. So that's India overacting behavior. Indian government.
In history, we have shown our engagement with Myanmar, with the Myanmar government, because we have diplomatic engagement with Myanmar. Unlikely many Western countries, India, has generally generally avoiding publicly criticizing Myanmar's government in strong term. And we know the reasons. Reason is strategic importance of Myanmar and India's Act East policy and cooperation against insurgents groups operating along the India-Myanmar border. and need to counter growing Chinese influence in Myanmar also. And so India has to take care of all these concerns when we are talking about the Rohingyas refugee. But along with this, yes, we also take other initiatives like people to people engagement, and we use social media to raise these kind of issues, especially the Rohingyas issue. And we can use a public platform, the social platform, or think tanks uh, to discuss these issues, or to more engagement of people from different corners.
India government and especially your Indian foreign minister usually said he doesn't want to engage with social media or any think tank or any civil society, which means he only engaged with the regime channel. So that is
Yes,
very, very
so,
unfortunate. Indian
as
government,
I
India
mentioned,
foreign
we have,
ministry.
along with this, we have other issues, like we have to take care our security concern also. We have to take care our regional stability also. So it's all about the national interest.
I
So,
mean,
and that
social media, think tank, intellectual, it's nothing problem with security. They are just
exactly.
intellectually. Think tank, social media, any media, civil society, India government should welcome. Why India did not welcome? India should open for them, isn't that?
But yes, we need to work on these dimension, on these parameters also.
Feel Indian government, especially Indian foreign minister, has very poor think tank or very poor advisor or a lot of uh, very very bad policy on Burmese case. So India government, India foreign minister has to double check what's wrong and what bureaucrat has mistake, what a poor policy. I think in spite of biggest democracy, Chinese case is different. They are not democracy. Even Chinese is doing bad thing. India should not the same with China. You have democracy standard. India government should concern Indian population, the people voice, democracy should be concerned. So India foreign minister, India government has, I think, to reconsider policy, and I think most things open it, open for engagement. India government should welcome and open. So that very wrong calculation and very wrong policy has very wrong in India government policy related in Burma.
We do discuss this issue, uh, uh, in different think tanks, this Rohingyas issue. Uh, but yes, of course, if you say we have, some specific think tank who are related to this Rohingyas issue, so we don't have. But yes, you know, whenever we get a chance or opportunity to to highlight this issue or to talk about this issue, we do. Rohingyas issue is not related to Myanmar because somehow it will or it is affecting their neighbor countries also. So solution will come from the neighbor countries also. We have to take care of this issue.
Sometimes it can happen like egg and chicken. What is first? Chicken is first or egg is first, you know.
It's
Sometimes
a
Burmese regime or neighboring, because regime can shrink because of neighboring weapon supply. And if with neighboring no weapon supply, regime cannot shrink. So chicken and egg theory. So that is something like twisting. So it is very said fully. And think tank, you've been saying about think tanks, some Indian think tank and or policymaker or bureaucrat or advisor, very old think tank advisor, very old advisor. I mean, traditional way of engagement or advisor, policymaker, many of them are out of date, you know. So I think India government should be overcome those old style, old way of traditional way of policy making and engaging. I saw many, you've been saying something then, very old people and very outdated traditional people, they are still doing probably Indian foreign policy, Indian government policy, not enough changes, policy maker, not enough a good advisor, or not enough a good think tank groups, just one or two their own very old traditional advisor or think tank groups. That really not sufficient or very old media, very traditional media. India do their own way of democracy, working with Burmese population, a lot of population, ethnic population or mainland population, Buddhist population, Christian population, any group. If India go straight on that democracy direction, India cannot lose. India can still gain success in policy making in Burma, in geopolitical in Burma, because as long as the people uh, engaging with India, India has no reason to lose China, because people are the main in the country. Without people, the authoritarian dictator system is it's outdated, It is long time is not possible. Even China cannot really able to win Burma if they concentrate on authoritarian system or dictatorship system. Even Chinese are very clever. They don't want to, they don't want to lose the Burmese population, or they don't want the Burmese population antagonist against China. So even they engage most of the case is very secretly, China is doing very secretly. Publicly, they are very careful, even they are not democracy. So India, why not openly engage with the people? India should not, I mean, it's nothing benefit for India engaging in the region, the regime, authoritarian regime, dictatorship regime, India is sometimes paradox. That's why I'm been arguing India has some very bad policy making and foreign policy making, and somehow some things are invisible mistake, I guess. At the border area, Mizoram government is good. I mean, Manipur is not good. They have a lot of problem. Only Mizoram government is successful in engagement in border area, I guess. And India central government, if they work bigger role with the Mizoram government at the border, I think that would be better. I don't know, central and local government power sharing and working, engaging with the border. I think Mizoram government can do much better. They can do better than central government, I guess, in the border area.
I'm more focused on the political and and the cultural factor. Whatever be the factors, but responsible for this Rohingyas issue. We need to work on the solution, how to deal with this problem.
Geographically, as we talk, if you study, you need to study definitely from Bangladesh, Chittagong coastal line and northern part of Arakan plain area that Rohingya usually inhabited area, as you said historically. You cannot study only northern part of Arakan state at the plain area. You have to also study Chittagong plain coastal line. These all are Rohingya inhabited area historically. If you don't study
I agree.
Bangladesh area, it means the research is incomplete,
because the roots are from the Bangladesh or
That
from
is,
the Bengal.
you can find evidence of the inhabited and their story, And as you mentioned, during British colony, those Bangladesh area can easily move to Burma without any restriction. Massive movement for the most what they call Rohingya nowadays. We can categorize those massive movement during British colony from Bangladesh to Burma. Most category fall in that group, migration group, we can say. But 1 or 2%, that can be different story, Arakan state, within Arakan state, southern part, central part of Arakan state, a very different culture and language. Before colony, I mean, Arakan is still now Buddhist country, Before colony was also Buddhist Arakan state. And during very, very ancient time, during Buddhist religion came into Arakan state, Sakya clans, probably Buddha area, now Bihar, probably Bihar or near Nepal, from Lumbini, those area, and then came to Burma. That time, probably some of Buddhist relative or Buddhist ancestor from here, they might go to Burma, That time, some royal, we can see royal family or royal relative or, those people might go to Burma. And even before British colony, there is Mughal Empire, Muslim Empire. That time, Mughal loyal, some are also fled to the Arakan kingdom, So royal family, some are usually, they fled and go there and live there, and they are mingled. Very long time, some are mixed. I mean, Arakan have loyal family, a lot of mixed family, probably. But they are very, that time they are Buddhist or Hindu. It can be, because before British in Arakan, very ancient time, probably Hindu can come and Buddhist can come, not Muslim, Muslim is only after British colony. So what Rohingya mainly is a Muslim. So this is complexity study, and you cannot ignore Chittagong area to study Chittagong coastal island. That is very much Rohingya inhabitant. They can easily go over day, within a day to the Burma, Northern Rakhine State. So when you talk about Rohingya freedom, 100% freedom is Rohingya need independence. So if you talk about Rohingya independence, which area? It will be including Bangladesh, right now Bangladesh, Chittagong, region, coastal line, and Martin Islands, and northern part of Arakan plain area near Naf River. That can be independent of Rohingya country. That only if they have independent of Rohingya country, Rohingya can get 100% freedom. But I don't think Bangladesh will agree to give up Martin's Islands and part of Chittagong coastal area. And Burma, Arakan state will not agree, I don't think. So independent of Rohingya is unlikely. And second level of freedom, it should be autonomous level, I don't know. Coastal line of Chittagong, supposedly we can say Rohingya region, Bangladesh can give them autonomous to coastal line of Chittagong area, and also northern part of plain area of Arakan state can have autonomous. Only then they can have freedom. That is most possible Bangladesh might consider and Burma might consider. And the other way is Rohingya has to absolutely adapt with Chittagong people in Bangladesh, Chittagong region, Bangladesh, or Rohingya people must adapt with Arakan Buddhist people in Rakhine style. That is the last option. So this freedom for Rohingya. Independent is not possible. Second, autonomous level, also very difficult. Neither Bangladesh or Burma will be easily given them, because in Arakan state, they need to negotiate with Arakan Buddhist people to get autonomous. Also, Chittagong coastal line, they need to negotiate with Chittagong region and Bangladesh government. That will be required to negotiate. That's also not easy to negotiate. The last is to adapt with those local state, Arakan state in Burma or Chittagong region in Bangladesh. They have to adapt is the last option. So that is Rohingya freedom, and Bangladesh government Bangladesh government also blindly claim all the Rohingya should be returned, regardless of who has connection with Chittagong in Bangladesh. And Burmese military also claim all these Rohingya should be expelled from northern part of Arakan state. That's also very inhuman acts. Well, so both Bangladesh government and Burmese military regime are doing very badly, and Bangladesh government cannot claim all Rohingya should be deported back, because Rohingya are mostly connected with Chittagong plain, Chittagong coastal line. That is their historical territory. Chittagong coastal is historical territory Rohingya, and probably northern part of Rakhine state, especially as you said after British colony, they most are populated in that area. So this they are used to inhabit most those area in Chittagong coastal line and northern part of Arakan state, mostly Rohingya inhabited and additionally Martin's Island, that Rohingya can be inhabited, So these are, if you want to categorize or analyze the freedom for Rohingya, that I'm saying 3 levels. of independent of number one, independent of Rohinja. Number two, autonomous region of Rohinja within Bangladesh, also within Burma. And number three, the last option is they have to adapt either side in Chittagong in Bangladesh or Northern Arakan state in Burma. So that is my own finding. So I can say these three levels Rohingya can achieve their freedom.
Today's discussion is very fruitful for me. I got so many information because you belong to this region, and I never got a chance to visit Myanmar and the Bangladesh, because most of the Rohingyas are staying in Bangladesh. But definitely, if I will get a chance to visit these two places, I definitely visit, and I will try to work on Rohingyas issues.